Matthew Trewhella from Richfield. Speaking against. From Mercy Church? Mercy
Seat.
Mercy Seat Church. Welcome.
Thank you. You guys will really like me because I'm going to be quick.
Hooray.
Me and my wife have 11 kids, pastor a church, mission to run. She's beautiful. I'm busy. But I got a few things I'd like to say. We all know what you intend to do here, and that is to spend years creating yet another piece of paper, only to have it trampled by yet another federal court, impugned by yet another Congress, or rolled over by yet another executive order from POTUS. This federal government has spent decades trampling the Constitution. Your piece of paper with new words added to the Constitution, or a completely new one, would be trampled yet again as the current Constitution has been trampled. What you are doing here with these bills is designed to give the impression that you are doing something while you are doing nothing. You possess the lawful authority, the right, and the duty to interpose against the federal government now, without creating yet another piece of paper. You chance a convention of the states for a mere balanced budget amendment over mere money. We have monetary problems because of our moral problems. This federal government slaughters the preborn, and you bow to it. They pervert marriage, and you bend over and take it. And yes, you will submit to their filth and injustice when they declare that boys must be allowed in girls' shower rooms. This federal government picks our pockets and spends massive amounts of money on unconstitutional departments and programs, and yet the states allow them to do it. In fact, the states participate in the plundering. Like a whore, the states have been bought off. The states have acquiesced to this mugging. Yes, you've given up political authority so that you can obtain mere money from the federal beast. Such an arrangement encourages state legislatures to be more interested in doing the bidding of their federal master than they are in doing what is right for the people in the sight of God. What you do here is designed to give cover to that collusion and why we have a federal government that spends unconstitutionally and is out of control. Such treachery is laid plain to many of us here. Such obfuscation is apparent. You belie your duty, gentlemen, by preferring yet another piece of paper. Your duty is to establish and uphold justice in our state. This is your God-given duty. It is a sacred duty. Yet you prefer to create yet another piece of paper. The state of Wisconsin is not to be a mere province of the federal government. The state of Wisconsin is not to be a mere implementation center for unjust or immoral federal law, policy, or court opinion. It is not a mere conduit to dispense federal money. You have a duty to maintain this state's authorities, rights, and liberties. Your duty is interposition. Stop taking the money. Quit recognizing the legitimacy of unconstitutional spending. Quit recognizing the legitimacy of unconstitutional departments, programs, and mandates. End your collusion, which has created the problem for which you now want this convention. As a minister in this state for 29 years now, I wholeheartedly oppose this attempt to make Wisconsin yet another state of fools, calling for an Article 5. You possess lawful authority. Quit hiding behind this skirt, along with the one of the federal courts have ruled, all we can do is obey, and interpose against the federal government that has long broken the chains which were meant to bind it down. This is what is needed and necessary. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for hanging around. It sounds like you're very busy, and thanks for taking the time. Any questions from?
I have a question. I don't know
I'm sorry, we're taking questions from the committee members.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Senator Weinhaut?
I don't know if I can speak for Max, and maybe I shouldn't even try. But I guess the realities of the state budget kind of hit me in the face because we're right now in the middle of beginning a 3 or 4 or 5 month budget debate. And we're looking at a budget where 3 of every $10 in the budget comes from the federal government. And in some programs, it's about half. So I think about some of the very basic services that we provide to the least fortunate that Max kind of inspired me to think about. A great example would be the disabled and the frail elderly, people that are clearly living well below the poverty line, and in the way that the state defines Medicaid is 100% of the poverty line or less. If we did what you ask, if we did exactly that, we would have to completely scrap the Medicaid program because there's no way we could afford it. But what would happen almost immediately is that nursing homes would go out of business and a whole lot of people would die. And I just can't imagine if Max gets us thinking about what's in the scripture, how could we possibly define that kind of an action? And if that's, and understand that we're trying to do the right thing, and I think there's really good motivation on each side of this issue, but there's a lot of really difficult problems that we have to solve. And to say no to the federal government, like you're asking, is to say no to almost half of our highway money, and we already can't fund the roads. We're way behind on road maintenance. And then, completely destroy everything we do as a state on healthcare, which, knowing that 2/3 of it go to the disabled and the frail elderly who are below the poverty line.
I was raised in the city of Detroit. Where I grew up, I was a minority. I was from a broken home. My father left on Christmas Eve when I was 11. And I abhor the politics of dependency. That's what I've come to learn. And our state legislature gives millions to Planned Parenthood, if you want to talk about Christian, to butcher the preborn babies in this state.
Actually,
Planned Parenthood
just
does.
so you know, in 2013, and I'm not taking credit for this because I didn't vote for it, but 94% of the state dollars were removed from going to Planned Parenthood. That's just absolutely false, and it wasn't me, it was my Republican colleagues that did it.
It is not. They get millions. They still get millions.
Not from
maybe we could
Wisconsin.
bring this back to the issue of the Article 5 discussion that we were having.
Sure. So my
Do you have a
point is
question in there,
simply-
Senator
my sim-
Weinhaut?
I just am asking him what he would want us to do if he doesn't want us
I
to
want
do
the
this.
federal government to get back into the limitations that the Constitution squared off for it, and I want the state legislature to do its duty and interpose against their unconstitutional actions, which have been going on for decades now. That's what a lot of Wisconsinites want, and that's what I'm asking for. People will help each other out. Before the state came in and started playing God, people helped each other out and took care of each other, and they can do the same again. We don't need the state sticking their nose in where it doesn't belong.
All right, well, thanks for coming today.
All right, anything further? Thank you very much.